Welcome to the Chapter 8 Test Doctor. We're going to be talking about how we can fix our test on surface area and volume. So as we go through this test, I'm not going to give you the answers. I'm going to try to explain and walk you through the first few steps of each problem that will allow you to kind of then think about what you need to do to finish the problem and come up with the answer. Okay? It says name these shapes. So the only thing I'm going to talk about here, so you need to write the name of each of these shapes. Here, remember, we are trying to think about what is the shape of the base. Okay? That is important when naming each shape. And it's important that we pay attention to how many bases does it have. Okay? Does it have one base or does it have two bases? Because that will determine what kind of a polygon, or sorry, not a polygon, polyhedron this is. Okay? And also we're going to want to look at the lateral faces. Okay? The lateral faces of each shape. If the lateral faces are rectangles, that will make it one shape. If the lateral faces are triangles, it will be a different shape. So see if you can think about what you know about each of these shapes, the bases and the lateral faces, and come up with the name for each of these polyhedrons. Number 2, name the 3D shape represented by the two-dimensional figures. So we have a net here and a net here. You need to name what is this a net of and what is this a net of. Again, you're looking at the base of each shape as well as the lateral faces. Use what you know about the base and the lateral faces to determine what kind of shape they represent. Number 3, name the solid or the three-dimensional figure and find the number of faces, edges, and vertices of the solid. Okay, so again, looking at the shape, how many bases does it have? What shape is the base? And what kind of lateral faces does it have? Okay, so name that shape or the solid right here, and we're looking for how many faces, including the bases, does it have altogether? How many edges does this shape have? And how many vertices does this shape have? Remember, edges are going to be the lines, if you will, that outline the shape that are on the outside of each face. Okay, the vertices are where 3 or more faces come together and meet at one point. Okay, so see if you can determine how many faces, how many edges, and how many vertices this shape has. Number 4, draw a rectangular pyramid and draw a two-dimensional representation of the solid, or in other words, a net. So remember, a pyramid has lateral faces that are triangles, and it says that it wants a rectangular pyramid. So we're going to start with a base that is a rectangle. And then we're going to put a point up above, and from each vertice or corner of the rectangle we will connect to the point with a line. So remember, a rectangular pyramid has a rectangular base and the lateral faces are all triangles. Now you need to draw the net of this shape. Okay, go ahead and give that a try. So if you unfold this shape, what would it look like if you laid it flat? Okay, number 5, find the surface area of the square pyramid, show your work. Okay, so whenever we're finding surface area, we are finding the area of the surfaces and adding them all together. So in this shape, we have the base, which is a square, that's one face. And then we have 4 lateral faces, which are all triangles. Because the base is a square, we know that the base of each triangle is going to be the exact same number, which tells us something about the 4 triangles, that all 4 triangles should be the same. So first we need to have the area of the square. and then the area of each triangle, and then multiply it by 4, because all 4 triangles should be the same in a square pyramid. Once you have found the area of both, then we will add them together to find the total surface area. Remember, if we want to find the area of a square, A equals side squared. If we want to find the area of a triangle, we have A equals 1/2 the base times the height. Okay, so use these formulas to go ahead and find the area of each surface. Remember, the square, the answer will go here. The triangle, we will multiply by 4, and that answer will go here because we have 4 triangles that are the same. Once you have added them together, the total surface area belongs in the box. Make sure you have a label that is appropriate for surface area. Find the surface area of the triangular prism. Okay, so again, surface area, we're finding the area of the surfaces and adding them all together. Okay, we have multiple choice here. So first, we know that we need to find the area of the triangle base, and on a prism, we know that there are 2 matching bases, so we're going to do triangle times 2. And how many rectangular lateral faces will we have? 1, 2, 3. So we have 1, 2, 3 rectangles. Remember, again, to find the area of a triangle, we need 1/2 base times height. And for a rectangle, we need just base times height. So those are the formulas that you will use. Don't forget, triangle, area of one triangle times 2 will give you both, and then you need all 3 rectangles, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then you will add them all up, and that will give you your total surface area, and see which one it matches. Number 7. A piece for a board game is shaped like a triangular prism. The piece is 10 millimeters long. The base of the piece is an equilateral triangle with 5 millimeter sides and a height of 3 millimeters. Find the surface area of the game piece. Okay, so it has told us, we can go ahead and just label our game piece over here, that the piece is 10 millimeters long. So that's going to be here, my length. We can make that a 10 millimeters. The base of the piece is an equilateral triangle, so we know that both of these triangles are equilateral, which means that all of the sides are the same, and we know that they're both equal. And it says that the base of the triangle is 5 millimeters, and the height is 3 millimeters. If it's an equilateral triangle, we know that all 3 sides are the same, so this is also 5 millimeters, and this is 5 millimeters. Okay, so again, if we want to find the surface area, we need to do triangle times 2, and then how many lateral faces do we have that are rectangles? 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3 rectangles. Because each of my edges of my triangle are all 5, that means that all of my rectangles will also be the same. Okay, so that makes this problem a little bit easier. So once you have found the area of the triangles and each of the rectangles, add them all together, and don't forget your label, and put your answer in the box. Number 8. This picture shows a rectangular box that has been unfolded into a net. Okay, the 2 faces are squares with 3-inch sides. So we have this one and this one are both squares with 3-inch sides. That means that all 4 of the sides are 3 inches. And then it says 4 faces are rectangles with lengths of 8, and widths of 3. That means that this is also a 3, this is also an 8, this is also a 3. Okay? So, if we want to find the surface area, we need to find the area of each surface and then add them all together. Okay, so first we need area equals side squared for a square, and area equals base times height for a rectangle. So let's go ahead and find the area of one of the squares. We know that we have 3 is the side, so 3 squared, which is 3 times 3, makes 9. That is 1 square. Okay, now we need a rectangle. We know that the base is 8 and the height is 3, so 8 times 3 is 24, so one of my rectangles is 24. Okay, what do I know about this rectangle? Well, we know that it's the exact same length and width as this rectangle, so that means that this is 24, this is 24, and this one out here is identical to this rectangle, so it also must be 24. And this square we know also must be equivalent to this square because they are on opposite sides of the box, so that means it also must be 9. So make sure that you have 6 faces all together, okay, and you have 2 squares and 4 rectangles that match. Make sure you add all of them together. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rectangles. And then add them all together, and that will give you the surface area. Okay, don't forget your label in your answer. Number 9, find the surface area of the prism and show your work. Okay, we have surface area equals 2 times length times width plus 2 times length times height plus 2 times width times height. So now we just need our 3 numbers, okay, our length, width, and height, which are 3, 4, and 5, and we're going to make sure we have all 3 combinations of those 3 numbers and plug them into our expression. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and let you do that. Put these 3 numbers in all 3 combinations in the expression, and then we're going to simplify the expression, and your answer goes in the box. Make sure your answer has a label in feet, okay? Number 10, find the volume of the rectangular prism. Well, we know that volume is different from surface area. We're finding the space on the inside of the shape that it takes up, and volume equals length times width times height. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and let you work out this problem. If this is my length, this is my width, and this is my height. Plug your numbers into the formula and solve. Make sure that your label is appropriate for volume. And your answer goes in the box. Number 11. How many 1-inch cubes are needed to create a rectangular prism that is 7 inches long, 3 inches wide, and 4 inches high? Well, we know that if we are filling up a box with cubes, or a rectangular prism with cubes, that means we're trying to find the volume. And volume comes from length times width times height. So which one of these answers matches the volume for a cube that has a length of 7, a width of 3, and a height of 4? Okay, I'm going to let you go ahead and figure that out and put your answer in the box. Number 12, how much sand is needed to fill a sandbox that has a length of 3 feet, a width of 2.5 feet, a height of half a foot? So again, we have V equals length times width times height. We want to know how much sand we can put inside of that box. If the length is 3, the width is 2.5, we have to make that improper. So 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So 5 over 2 times 1/2, and we have to put this 3 over top of a 1, because we have to make it improper. Okay, make sure that you have first looked for any common factors that we could cross simplify. Then you will go ahead and multiply straight across and simplify your answer. Make sure your answer is in terms of feet, and we're talking about volume, so feet cubed. Number 14. A box is in the shape of a rectangular prism and has a volume of 480. So remember, V equals L times W times H. Okay, we know that the volume is 280. The width is 6. The length is 8. And it says, what is the height? Times H. So this is what we're missing. That's what we're solving for. Simplify the expression and then solve for H. Okay, I'm going to let you go ahead and finish the problem. Make sure your answer, the label is appropriate. We are looking for H, so your answer should be in terms of what would the height be, not the volume. Make sure your answer is in the box. Number 15. A raised gardening bed contains 16 cubic feet of dirt. The bed is 4 feet wide and 8 feet long. How deep is the dirt? So again, we have V equals L times W times H. We know that the volume, or the cubic feet of how much is inside, is 16. We know that the length is 8 and it is 4 feet wide. What is the height? So again, simplify the expression, solve for H. How high is the gardening bed? Okay, I'm going to let you go ahead and simplify and solve. Good luck on the rest of the test. I hope that this was helpful. Go back and review as many times as you need, and hopefully you can fix your test.